young, and mighty.
Good morning, everyone. Great to see you this morning. We're ready for Powerhouse. I'm excited. Buddy's excited, aren't you, Buddy? Yeah, Buddy's excited too. And so we're going to go straight over to Naomi and Alan and see what they're doing in Powerhouse. I'll see you over there. Take care. Bye-bye.
Naomi, quick, come on, join in with me. I've got a brand new dance to teach you. You're going to love it.
How are we going to do that? We're on Zoom.
Oh, don't worry, just follow me. And if you're at home, maybe you want to have a go as well. So first, we're going to put on the music.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
Did you get it?
Not really getting it.
That's all right. I'll break it down for you.
Okay.
So, first you go like this.
Like this.
And then you go like this.
Like this. Okay.
And then you give it a wiggle.
A wiggle. Okay.
Okay? And then you do it the other way round. So you go like this.
This.
And then like this.
Okay.
And then you give it a wiggle.
Right. Okay.
So do you think you've got it now?
I think I've got it. So it's like this.
Again.
Like this. Let's do it again.
Okay, so like this.
Like this.
Like this.
Like this.
And give it a wiggle.
And a wiggle.
Like this.
Like this.
Like this.
Like this.
And give it a wiggle.
Yeah, okay.
Got it?
Brilliant. I've got it.
Let's try it with the music, shall we?
Let's try it again.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
Oh, I keep getting it wrong.
Oh, that's all right. Just keep practicing it over and over again. It doesn't matter how many times we do it, or even that you make a mistake. All that matters is that you're trying your best.
Great, thanks. I'll go away and I'll practice that. Now, I have heard some awesome things about what you guys have been doing at home. And haven't you been busy? Have you been keeping up? Wasn't the workshop absolutely fantastic yesterday?
Yeah, and if you didn't get a chance, but you feel like this is something that you would like to get involved with, then Dean will have all the information at the end of the show. But you don't have to do that to get involved right now. All you need to do is jump up.
Get on your feet.
Because it's time for a song.
It's not a secret, it's not a fairy tale, it's not made up. Jonah was in a whale. 3 whole days, 1, 2, 3. The greatest treasure, the word God's people wrote. It's in the Bible, when Noah built a boat. And it rained and rained. Are you ready? The rainbows in the sky to show God's promises are true. The rainbow
So Naomi and I gave you a little clue in our mini sketch about the story today, with the dancing. So have a listen to Harriet and see whether you can spot our hint.
Well, that's my cue to read today's story. Jesus in the temple. "Excuse me," said Mary, "but have you seen my boy Jesus?" "I'm sorry to trouble you," said Joseph, "but I can't seem to find my son. He's 12 and about so tall." Again and again they asked, but Mary and Joseph found nothing but shrugs and sympathetic looks and "sorry, I can't help." They were worried. They were scared. They didn't know what else to do. And what made it worse was that this should have been such a wonderful trip off to Jerusalem to visit the temple and celebrate the Passover holiday. But now they were on their way home, and Jesus was missing. It was getting dark. "We've asked everyone we came with," Mary wept, "and no one has seen him." Joseph snapped his fingers. "What about those boys? The ones from the next village? Jesus walked with them a while on the way down here." "I've already spoken to them," sighed Mary, wiping her eyes. "Nothing." "Then there's only one thing left to do," said Joseph. "We must go back to Jerusalem and look for him there." And so they went, retracing their steps, road by road, street by street, alley by alley, until they arrived exhausted at the temple. "Have you seen a boy?" said Joseph to one of the temple priests. "He's 12, Have we seen a boy?" The priest grinned. "We certainly have. His name is Jesus, right?" "Yes," cried Joseph. "But how did you know?" "Come with me," the priest chuckled, "and I'll show you." The priest led them to a corner of the temple courtyard. There was a crowd gathered, listening to one of the temple teachers, and seated right at the teacher's feet was Jesus. "The boy is remarkable," the priest whispered to Joseph. "He has been going from teacher to teacher, asking the most amazing questions, and when the teachers quiz him, he answers with a wisdom well beyond his years. You should be very proud." "I'm certainly amazed," Joseph sighed, "but I would be much prouder if he hadn't worried his mother and me half to death. We should be halfway back to Nazareth by now." When the teacher had finished, Joseph and Mary rushed straight to Jesus. They hugged him. They led him out of the temple, but it didn't take long before they told him how they felt. "What did you think you were doing?" Mary asked. "We were worried sick." "I'm sorry," Jesus said. "I thought you'd know where I was." Then he looked back at the temple and whispered, "It is my Father's house after all." Mary and Joseph looked at each other. Jesus took their hands, and together they started off home. Thanks, Harriet. Wow, that was a difficult clue that Alan gave you. If you need another hint, then think about how I was following Alan, and think about what Jesus was doing in the temple. If you're still stuck, then don't worry, because all will be revealed in the talk. But first of all, we have the sketch.
Hey Pete, what's up?
Oh, hi, yeah, nothing. I was just checking on you actually after yesterday. How cool was that? Like, even after an hour of your report, people had given so much food.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well done. Well done for broadcasting all about it. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thanks for helping me.
So, how are you getting on with those Bible readings?
Well, not great.
Well, that's okay. We're all learning.
Yeah, I just feel like I have so much to learn.
Well, you've clearly learned something. Yesterday, just look at you. Well, you took what you had to the homeless, you were helping them and encouraged others to do so as well. That's more than some people do.
Yeah, I suppose.
And people will notice that. They will start wondering why you do things a bit differently to everyone else.
Really?
Yeah, I've had it before. Someone once came up to me and said, like, why are you so nice to everyone?
No way.
Yeah. And I knew, just because I've learned the right way to do life by following Jesus' example. You know, I'm not perfect, and I've still got loads to learn.
Yeah, I've always noticed that. You've always had the best advice and just know what to say. I guess I've just got to keep learning.
Exactly.
It's a bit cringy, but I really want to be like you. You just do everything right.
Well, you know, it's not always easy. And like I said, I'm not right all the time. And I'm certainly not always this nice, but I try and I learn about Jesus and I try and put it into action in my life. That's it, really. It's nothing special.
I'm going to try it. I really want to live my life that way too.
That's amazing. Well, I've got to go. I'll see you soon, Em. Bye.
Isn't Pete such a nice person? It's really kind of him to check on Em and see how she's getting on. Just a little challenge for you today. Why don't you see whether you can check on a friend today and see how they're doing?
How are you doing, Naomi?
I'm good, thank you, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Isn't that nice? Tomorrow we will find out about the last part of our sketch. Now, however, we are here to listen to our penultimate talk about today's story. The person coming to speak to us is someone you might recognise from After Hours. It's the wonderful Scott. So let us pray for him now.
Dear God, teach us to be more like you. Let us hear your word and take what is said into our daily lives. Thank you for Scott and the words he's about to say.
Amen.
Hey guys, some of you might know me. My name's Scott, and I've been a Chequer leader for around about 10 years now. And I'm so excited that I get to still talk to you this year about one of my favourite stories in the Bible, and I think it will quickly become one of your favourites. It's in Luke chapter 2, verse 41. And this is a story about Jesus when he was your age. He was just 12 years old. We hear lots of stories of Jesus when he's older. Lots of stories of Jesus when he's in his 30s. But not really any when he's 12. And here we read it. And this story takes place after a Passover feast. A big feast where all the families would go up together and feast in Jerusalem. And after they have a feast, their family starts to walk home. And they're all walking home together. And after a day's walk, someone turns around and says, "Where's Jesus? Where is Jesus?" They're searching for Jesus and he's not there. So there's a panic. Where is Jesus? They don't know where he is. And this reminded me of a story about my brother. When we was younger, we went to the shops with our grown-ups and he disappeared. And I remember my mum, she was panicking. She didn't know where he was. So we went and we found him and he was down the ketchup aisle cuddling some ketchup. And we thought that was really strange. He wasn't upset, he wasn't panicked, but my mum was. But he had found his ketchup. So we read on to them looking for Jesus. In verse 45 it says, "When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days," so they didn't know where Jesus was for 3 days, "they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers and listening and answering questions." Wow! Jesus was found in the temple courts. He'd been there for 3 days. Now a temple is Jesus' day equivalent of our church. So Jesus was in church, talking to the teachers, listening to them, asking questions, answering questions. And then it says, everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. So Jesus knew a lot at this time. He's only 12. And I reckon a lot of you know a lot about Jesus and about the Bible. And some of you might not even be 12. Then it says in verse 48, when his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." So they was panicked. Remember the story of my brother when my mum was panicked at in the supermarket looking for my brother and he was cuddling ketchup. They was panicked, anxiously searching. Jesus says these beautiful words. Why were you searching for me? He asked. Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house? He had to be at church. He had to be with his Father, with God, learning about God. But they didn't understand what he was saying to them. They didn't understand Jesus at this time. But Jesus understood that he had to be with his Father. And that's important for us, no matter how old we are, to find time to be with our Father, to find time to be with God, to find time in your Bible, in prayers. But then, he went down to Nazareth with them and was obedient to them. He was obedient to his parents. He went back with them. This isn't a story about Jesus running off. This isn't a story of saying it's okay to run off and not obey your parents. This is a story saying that his parents had gone, so he went to learn about God. But then when his parents found him, Jesus was obedient and he went back to Nazareth with him. And then his mother treasured all these things in her heart. Even though this had happened, she'd found him again. And his mother treasured Jesus' passion for wanting to learn more about God, for going to church. And then Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favour with God and men. After this, Jesus grew. Jesus grew in knowledge and in favour of not only men, not only people around him, but of God as well. And you might say to me, Scott, I'm only young. How can I grow in wisdom? I've got to wait till I'm 20, 30 years old. But actually, you are young and you are mighty. Jesus was 12 when we learn this story. Jesus was 12 and his mother treasured this in her heart because of the passion Jesus had. So I want to encourage you to be passionate, find out about God, and you too will grow in stature. You too will grow in favour. You too will grow in the eyes of people, but also in the eyes of God. No matter how old you are, remember this. You are strong. You might be young, but you are mighty. Thank you for listening, guys, and I look forward to seeing you all again next year. God bless.
Amazing. Wasn't that great? Thank you, Scott, for speaking to us. Something to really think about there.
Now, before we go, let's finish off with a prayer to start our day at Chequer Camp.
Dear God, thank you to everyone who is able to join in with the young and mighty camp today. I pray for a day full of fun and getting to know you even more. Amen. Shall we dance them out, Naomi?
Let's do it.
When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. 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 I'm not.
Oh, Powerhouse was brilliant. I love Powerhouse. Well done, Naomi and Alan. You did a great job. They always do. Well, it's time now to get into kit notes. So you know the drill, and not just the sword drill. You know what to do. Go to the website, find your kit notes, and go through them together with your family or with your brothers and sisters. Okay? It's time to go into kit notes. Then later on this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we're back here for our workshop. It's going to be an exciting one. You might need a few bits for the workshop today, so check the website, check the list, see what you might need, and get it all gathered before we come back at 2 o'clock. See you then. Bye-bye.
Young,